To begin with, I think let me log in as the registrar that we were using yesterday. Now the registrar, since he's the one in charge of registering cases in ECCIMIS, his dashboard will be viewing all the incoming cases that are pending registration and others that he has, for which he has to create a court sitting. That's why you see when you look at his dashboard, there will be so many cases. But among the functionalities that are provided for him, there is a filter icon here, which looks like a funnel. When he clicks on that, now that I want to search for my case, the one that I was working on yesterday as a registrar, and I had allocated a judge, I will put in the case number. It was 54 of 2022, and then click enter. So when I click enter, as you can see, it was HCT00 civil suit, 54 of 2022. The parties were Joseph Ruiga and Peter Sekatawa. So I will click on the case number to open that case. So after clicking on the case number, you can see our subway map, which shows the states through which the case has gone, indicating that it is pending judicial officer allocation. So this is the state at which it is. And if we want to allocate a judicial officer, we shall click on this yellow button, case details. Then I will click on edit because I want to add a judicial officer there. Now the system allows you to add a new judicial officer if one of the judicial officers who was here in your case has been transferred to another division, or in circumstances where we have lost that judicial officer who has died, then the case can be reallocated to another judge. And that can also be done in ECCIMIS. I wanted to do that here so that we can use one of the judges that we had. Yesterday, this is the judge that we allocated. It shows the allocation date and time. So there I want us to allocate among the names that we know among our judges so that we can use that account of that judge to process this case. So I will discharge this judge, assuming he has been transferred. I give the reason and discharge him from this case. Then I will add a new judge who has been reallocated this case. I want to look at among the names that we have in civil division and maybe give it to Justice Musa Sekana. So the name of the judge has come. We select the judge and add in. So here we are, we've added a new judge to this case. So we shall be using Justice Musa Sekana as the judge who is going to be hearing this matter. So upon adding a new judge to that case, we save and close. But upon saving, there is an action that we have to perform. Most actions will be embedded into the yellow buttons that we shall have on the system. So as you can see, the judge has been allocated to this case, but there is an action. The status of our case still indicates pending judicial officer allocation. So we are going to process an action here to confirm that the judicial officer has been allocated to this case. All this process will be viewed by all the parties to this case, their advocates, and whoever has an action to perform on this case. They'll be viewing whatever is happening on this case. So they will no longer be coming to our registries to ask whether their files have been allocated to a judge, because the process will be automatically displayed here upon the actions that will be taken on this file. So as you can see, our status bar indicates that a judicial officer has been allocated to this case, and the judicial officer that we've allocated to this case is Justice Musa Sekana. So now we are going to log out and log in, try to log in as a defendant. The defendant will also go through the same process of creating an account and then add himself to a case. I might not repeat that process that we did on Wednesday, where we created registration process where we register and get usernames and passwords. So I'm just going to display how the defendant can add himself to a case. So let me log out as a registrar. Yesterday we issued our summons to file a written statement of defense. So I log out as Agnes Arum. So now our defendant on this case is Peter Sekatawa. So I'm going to log in as Peter Sekatawa. Sekatawa, who is the defendant, so that I show you how the defendant will file his written statement of defense. So you log in, Peter Sekatawa. So the first time Peter Sekatawa logs into the system, he won't be seeing any case because ideally he has not been confirmed or validated as a party to any case. But there are two yellow buttons here. One is for e-filing and another one is find case with security code. Remember the summons that we issued for filing a defense have a security code on them. Let me share that, the summons. So the summons that you are seeing, I hope you are seeing the summons on the screen. The summons that you are seeing have this security code. These were summons to file a written statement of defense. So we use this security code to find the particular case where the defendant wants to file his written statement of defense electronically. So we can just simply copy that that security code. It will be a security feature for all documents that will be submitted out of ECCIMIS. Then we are going to find this case. Remember our case number is this, and the parties are Joseph Luiga and Sekatawa Peter. So we are going to find this case and add ourselves as parties to this case and be able to file our written statement of defense as defendants in this case. So let me go back to the system and show you the account of Peter Sekatawa, who is our defendant. If you are the advocate of Peter Sekatawa, you will still go through this same process to find this case and file a written statement of defense in this case. So we put the security code. That was the security code. We can also put the case number of this case. Those are the two features that we shall be using to add ourselves to this case. So I put the case number of the case and the security code and then search for that case. So as you can see, when I search that case, it indicates that my full name is Sekatawa Peter and my party role is a defendant in this case. I click yes and click add. So ideally, I should now be able to see this case and can proceed to file my written statement of defense. As you can see, the case has now come into my profile. So I've managed to collect this case and bring it into my profile so that I can attach my written statement of defense. So I go there, click on the case number to open the case, and then go to pleadings section. That's where we upload a soft copy of the written statement of defense. So when it opens, I click on the yellow button which indicates create. To look for written statement of defense. It's a document that I want to upload. The document I'm responding to is the plaint that was filed by the plaintiff. Then I click OK. It is filed by Peter Sekatawa. If I already have my advocate, I will say it is filed by the advocate on behalf of Peter Sekatawa. When I click this, it will say on behalf of Peter Sekatawa. If I'm filing it myself as a defendant, then I'll simply just put my name there If I have these details, I can put my prayers, my list of witnesses, and say maybe one of them is Joan Akio. If I have my summary of evidence, I can put it there. If I have my prayers, I can put it there. Then I can proceed to upload my written statement of defense under this section. So I'm uploading my written statement of defense. I proceed to browse for my defense, assuming I've scanned it. It's already signed. So I look for my written statement of defense on the desktop where I've put it. I upload it, and that's the process I'll be going through to upload the written statement of defense. As you can see, it is uploaded now. And the moment I upload it, I have to always save and close so that this information is stored in the system. So I save and close. But remember, each document that goes on file has to be paid for. Yesterday, I demonstrated the payment process. So today, I'm just going to give you an overview of the payment process. So you can see the written statement of defense is still in draft state. So I have the action to submit it for validation. It's the registrar who will be validating all the pleadings that will be going on file. So I've submitted it to the registrar for validation. But I also have to pay for it because all documents that are filed in court have to be paid for. So I will use this yellow button as our shortcut. Click there, go to the card of court fees where payments are made. Click on that, and then create a payment for paying the court fees in relation to the written statement of defense. So I say, what am I paying for? The service is court fees. Type is written statement of defense is the fee type that I'm paying for filing a written statement of defense. So I'll put it there. The amount is already assessed for me. It's 1,500 if I'm filing a written statement of defense. Who's paying? Peter Sekatawa. The payer is the same as the party. So I will save. But I still have to get the payment registration number from URA, which is a unique identifier for all the payments of non-tax revenue that I've sent to URA. So as you can see, our payment is still in draft state. So I have to get the PRN number, payment registration number from URA. I click generate PRN. As soon as I click on that yellow button, it will bring me the two methods of payment, either online or offline. So if I select online payment and click pay, I should be able to go to the URA website where I'm able to process this payment online by clicking on one of the banks. I hope all of you are seeing my screen. So I select the bank through which I want to make my payment here. Assuming it's GT Bank, then I click continue. Okay. So it should be able to bring me the GT Bank payment gateway where I have to process this payment online by using either my Visa card or MasterCard. If I have mobile money, I'll still go through one of those platforms to make this payment and I'll be able to proceed. So that's the process we are going to be going through in order to make the payment. Then after making the payment, I should just come back here, save and close. So the interface for the GT Bank where I will be paying the court fees will be looking like this. I'll put the name of the payer is put. I can provide my TIN number. It's not mandatory. Then I can continue to process this payment. I will input my Visa card on the next page. After inputting my Visa card number, the money will be deducted from my account. So that's the process that will be done in order to update this payment status. So now that I've finished paying, I will go to actions, then send this payment for confirmation. I click OK. As you can see the process, the status is going to change that the payment has been paid pending confirmation, and it's one of the court staff who has to confirm whether these court fees have been paid by validating or confirming this payment registration number. So that's the process that we shall be going through to make payment. And that is the role that the defendant has to play in the system. File his written statement of defense and pay for it. If you are the counsel for the defendant, then you will still go through the same process, doing it on behalf of the defendant that you are representing. So now we finished the role of the defendant, the defense is on file, the plaintiff is on file, the summons are on file. So we are going to log out and then log in as the registrar to confirm some of these documents before we allow the judge to come in and proceed with the hearing of this case. So we log in as Agnes Alum, who is the registrar at Civil Division, in order to find this case and act on it. So the case is number 54 of 2022. Agnes Alum, Her Worship Agnes Alum will open this case. So among the documents that he has to validate, we have a written statement of defense. So he will go to this pleadings card, click on it. She should be able to find the written statement of defense there. So our written statement of defense is here. She can open this defense, download, read. So by downloading, he will click on where it was uploaded and click on the label, and then she will be able to download it. But she also has an action to perform. She can confirm it online by stamping on it or signing on it online, confirm that it has been validated. Then he will proceed to perform the action of validate stroke sign, confirm that she has validated the written statement of defense. So at this point in time, the written statement of defense has been validated. There is also an affidavit that was filed by this process server. So she also has to validate that affidavit. So the affidavit of service is here. She will click on it. So she has already validated it. So good enough, she worked on that, I think, yesterday. So the validation of all the documents on file has been done. She also has to confirm if the defense has been paid for. She goes to the payment card where the court fees for filing defense have been put. So she can click on that and look at it. So the payment is already there. So she can proceed now to confirm that the fees have been paid. So the registrar can confirm that all the required documents are now available on file, and she can proceed to move the case to another level. So if the parties want to proceed to mediation, they will file a mediation cause under the card of miscellaneous application. There is where I'm just going to show you how you can file mediation cause within this file, so that we have all the files and the applications relating to this case in one docket. So we are going to proceed and as a registrar and move the case for hearing. Go back to my cases. So we shall open our case 54 of 2022. It is here. We shall open it. So if we want to file a mediation cause, and we have chosen to go through mediation, we shall go under this card of miscellaneous applications, stroke, revisions. Then there we can either create a miscellaneous application if we are filing an application arising out of this main case. So if it is a mediation cause, we can still file it under here. We choose the parties, and then we shall proceed to create the mediation cause. For now, I might not want to go through because it's the mediation cause, because it almost looks like the other processes that we've been doing. But this is where we shall file the miscellaneous causes, the mediation causes, the revisions using that card. So for purposes of practicing, you can go to this card of miscellaneous application and you should be able to create a miscellaneous application or create a mediation cause if you want to file a mediation cause in relation to this case. Okay, for now we are going to assume maybe we are not going to take the route of mediation, and we are going to proceed as a registrar to create a sitting, the first sitting on this case. So we shall open this case. We assume now the file is ready for hearing. Bishop is allocated. So we can proceed to pleadings. Pleadings which we've done. Then the litigant has finished responding to this. Then we can say maybe we are proceeding to hearing. We can, since we already have everything on file, we can just proceed to hearing. If you also want, we can move this case to pre-trial or proceed to mediation. So all the avenues are provided for you. If you are going to go to use the mediation route, you can just move this case to mediation. If you are going to go to pre-trial, you can move it under pre-trial. Assuming we are going to go directly into hearing, so we can just click the action of proceed to hearing, and we say it is ready for hearing. Then we click OK. So as you can see, the case has changed from pending litigant's response to under hearing. So we are going to create a court sitting here, and then we shall issue hearing notices in relation to this court sitting. So that is the process we are going to see. So how do we create a court sitting? We shall click on the create button. As a registrar, what is the sitting type? Maybe hearing. If it's a general hearing, then we can say hearing. If it's hearing applicant's case or plaintiff's case, we can select that type. Who are the participants? We can say our advocates and are going to participate. The parties are also going to participate. So all the people that we expect to receive notices about this court sitting have to be created or selected as participants. All the advocates, all the parties, so that they can be able to receive notifications relating to this court sitting. So we select the courtroom where this sitting is going to take place. We can also estimate the duration of this sitting. maybe it is going to take 2 hours. We can select the date, assuming it's going to sit today, and the time it is going to take place is maybe 8 a.m. Who are the required court staff? So among the required court staff, we can select some of them. So we can say maybe we are going to have Abraham, assuming Abraham Paire is a clerk. We can say maybe we are going to have an interpreter, maybe Abata Simwe. We can select maybe the transcriber who is going to draft for us the transcript here. Maybe that is transcriber user 1. If we have more than 2 court clerks, we can still select them. If we have our research assistant, we can still add them. So that is the process that we shall go through to create a sitting. Then if these people are occupied for another sitting, we can check their availability on that date and time. So as you can see, the chamber will be available if it is grayed out here in this row. It will indicate between these times, it will indicate that that day that chamber is also occupied by someone else who is going to have another sitting. If any of these staff is occupied in another court sitting on that same day or between that time, it will also be grayed out, indicating here. But now that it's not grayed out anywhere in their rows, that implies that they are free on that entire day and within that time. So that's how we shall be creating a court sitting. If there are any court sitting documents that we want these people to share, then we can simply add them under this section. So we can click Save and Close after inputting that basic information, which allows us to create the court sitting. So we've created a draft court sitting. It is not yet confirmed. It is the judge who confirms this court sitting. So the registrar has finished creating the court sitting. She's going to proceed to issue hearing notices and create a task for the process server to serve these hearing notices. So the next task is to create notices. We are going to create notices for this sitting so that we can issue them to the parties in order for them to be able to come and attend this court sitting or this kind of hearing. I want us to save this sitting so that we can get to the part where we can create hearing notices for this sitting. Okay, it has finished saving this sitting. So after it has saved this sitting, we are now going to proceed to create hearing notices relating to this sitting. So our next step after it has saved this sitting, remember, if you don't save the information, You won't find this sitting there. That's why I'm allowing it to complete the saving process so that we can have the sitting, the hearing notices issued. So as you can see, we have created a draft court sitting. It can only be confirmed if the registrar discusses with the judge that he has no appointments on that day, then she can proceed to confirm the sitting, or else the judge himself also has the right to confirm all these draft sittings. So if this sitting is confirmed after confirmation, receiving confirmation from the judge, then the registrar can proceed to create notices for this sitting by checking this box. So the sitting has been confirmed. Our next stage is to create notices, hearing notices that will be going out to the parties in order to allow them to attend this sit. Who is issued? What type of notice are we issuing? It's a hearing notice. Who are the which category? It's the court staff issuing it, and that will be the registrar. So even the judge has the right to perform this action of issuing the hearing notices, creating a sitting. All judicial officers have been given this role so they can play it in their profile. So assuming now it's the registrar performing it on behalf of the judge, the templates are already provided. The body of the template will be looking like this. If there is anything for the registrar has to amend, then he can amend it. So we can generate the template. We do not expect advocates to continue drafting for us copies of these documents, either summons or hearing notices, because the templates are already provided for, and we can just adjust them, the body of the templates, and generate them from here. So we are creating a notice. It is being who are the recipients, the advocates, and the parties. Who is creating it? We put those details. So if we have a signed copy of this notice, maybe we've extracted it, we can proceed to attach the hearing notice and say maybe it's a hearing notice, document type, it's a notice. Then we can also proceed to attach it here. Okay, we have one notice here. So assuming that is the scanned copy of the hearing notice, we can proceed to upload it in this section. As you can see, the hearing notice has been uploaded, and then we shall proceed to save and close. As soon as we save and close, there will be notifications going out that the hearing notices for this sitting have been created, and the parties or recipients will have to receive upon submission. So they have been validated and signed. So the next stage after validation, you can just put a comment, but it's optional, is to create a task for the process server to go and serve these notices. But at the same time, the same notices will be sent electronically via email to the email addresses of the parties to this case and their advocates. And in the same way, an SMS notification will come to their phones, notifying them that there is a sitting on this date and this time before justice so and so. So we can give the time of serving these notices and the date to the process server. So we select the process server that we want to serve this. Select the court level, which is High Court. Then we select High Court Kampala, the court where the process server is located. Then we look for the process server role, and then we search for the process server. So we shall have the list of process servers being populated here. Then we shall add. So we have assigned the process server to go and serve these hearing notices to the parties. So assuming the process server is going to serve these hearing notices, remember yesterday I demonstrated what the process server does. He has to complete this task and then file an affidavit of service confirming that he has actually served the parties with these hearing notices. So we are submitting the task to him to go and execute. So that's how a court sitting will be created, and the notices will be created in the same format. The same way, we shall create a task for the process server to go and serve all documents. So that is the process that we go through to create all the sittings. Yesterday, I demonstrated how the process server can come in, and maybe just to show you, I might not, I'm just going to give you just a briefing on what happens when the process server logs into the system. So our process server will log in. Okay. Let our process server log in and then try to execute that task that has been given to him. So when the process server logs in, you should be able to see our case, which is under hearing. And he will open, because he has to complete the task, assuming he has extracted this, the hearing notices. As you can see, the hearing notices are here. If he wants to print them out and go and serve them, they're already signed by the registrar. He can open there, then pick them from the notices card, download them and go and serve them. So a signed copy of the hearing notice is here. If he wants to download it, he will download it through this process and then go and serve it. So that's what he will do. Then after serving, remember, he has to complete the task. Using our shortcut, we shall go to the task card and complete the task of, there is a task that is pending before him of serving. Assuming he has finished serving the hearing notices, he will go to the task and complete it. Indicates that he has actually served the parties and executed the task. As you can see, the task has been completed. Then the next is to file an affidavit of service. This, using this card, this is where we file the affidavit of service. So he will proceed to create an affidavit of service in respect to the hearing notices that he has served. So he will fill in all these fields. The document served was hearing notice. The task service, the task number is also attached automatically. Then he will attach the signed copy, the sworn copy of the affidavit in this section. So this is where he can browse and upload the signed copy of the affidavit. Okay. So that's the process server will go through to complete his task. Complete the task, then file an affidavit of service in respect to the notices or the documents that you would have served. So ideally, that is the role of the process server. So next, Now that the process server has finished serving and filed the affidavit has to be completed by, to be validated by the registrar. We saw how the affidavit is validated by the registrar. So our next step is going to be to see how the sitting happens in this case. So we are going to log out. The sitting usually takes place in a courtroom or the chambers. In those chambers, we have recording equipment. After recording, we expect the transcriber to come and do the transcript. So we are going to log in as a transcriber in order to be able to execute the transcriber. So our transcriber, assuming this is the transcriber who is going to perform the task in court, the sitting has happened. So we log in as the transcriber to perform the role of the transcriber. Remember, among the participants, the court staff who are supposed to be part of this case, remember we added a transcriber. So the transcriber, as soon as we added him the other side, he was able to access this case because he has a role to perform. So he will simply click on the case number to open the case. His actions will be in court settings. So he will click on the court settings, and then he will proceed to edit the sitting, capture the duration of this sitting, and then attach a copy of the transcript. She can also be able to attach a copy, an audio copy of the recording. So the system allows you to attach all those files. So she can edit if this sitting has happened, capture the sitting, assuming this sitting has taken that period of time and it has been recorded for that period of time. She will listen in and type the proceedings and attach the transcript for this hearing so she can stop. So after doing that, she will proceed to attach a copy of the transcript for that sitting. That is after she has finished doing the transcription. So the transcript is here, assuming that is the soft copy of the transcript. She will click there and add it on file. So the transcriber has now added a copy of the transcript to this file. Basically, that will be the role of the transcriber, just listening in, typing the transcript and adding it on the file. If we need the audio, it can also be added on this file. So we can save and close. We finish performing the role of the transcriber. So now that we have a transcript, this implies that the sitting has happened, and therefore the registrar can log in and indicate that she has completed the sitting. So the action will be done and the process will show that the sitting has been transcribed by the transcriber. So the transcriber will now log out, and then we shall expect the registrar, our worship Agnes Alum, to log in, look for that case, and then complete the sitting. This is the case. So under actions, we go to settings. There are court settings here. You look for the court settings card. It's still indicating pending. So the registrar is the one to complete this sitting. So when the sitting opens, if it is the judge who has sat in this case, our judge was Justice Musa Sekana. So we are going to log in as Justice Musa Sekana and perform the role of the judge. Assuming this is the account of Justice Musa Sekana, and now he is logging into the system to perform his role on the system. So the judge will open our case. Our case number is 54/2022. There is one sitting ready for him. So if that sitting is completed, then assuming we have had only one hearing or two hearings, that is the process we shall be going through to create multiple hearings and completing them. So our next step, assuming Judge Musa Sekana has logged in and he has to deliver judgment, which is usually the last sitting on a case, he can proceed to create a new sitting for delivering judgment. So we'll click on that. Sitting type is judgment stroke ruling pronouncement. Who are the participants? We put the parties to this case. It is ideally the same process. The judgment is going to be delivered in his chambers 1.26 in civil division. When is it going to be delivered? We can say it's going to be delivered today. How long is it going to take? Maybe 2 hours, 120 minutes. Who are the required court staff? We can put maybe the transcriber. We can maybe put the research assistant because they all have a role to perform here. Then we can maybe put the clerk, assuming our clerk is Abraham. So he can add as many, our translator is Abatasime, or interpreter is Abatasime. So we put all the required court staff. We can also, assuming it is going to be heard today at 10. So we can also check the availability. It indicates to us that at between 8 and 9, they have a sitting, but the time that we've given them is 10. Between 10 and 11, there is no sitting. So the space is blank, it's not shaded blue. So that's how the judge will create the sitting. He will save and close. Then after saving, he can proceed to issue hearing notices for this sitting. Actions, he confirms the sitting that judgment will be delivered on that day. So he creates hearing notices which are going to go out to the parties. Okay, there is a pending sitting which we have to close. Just a minute. So when Justice Musa Sekana creates this sitting, he will proceed to create the hearing notices for this sitting. So let me just log in. It has a draft court sitting created. Let me just log out. That is saved. And log in as Justice Musa Sekana. So the previous court sitting has to be completed in order for the judge to create another sitting so that it doesn't have two contradicting sittings happening in his case. So he will open the case 54 of 2022. As you can see, it is under hearing. So among the actions he has to perform, under actions, he has to say the hearings have been completed. Then he clicks OK. So the case has now changed to the final state of pending final decision, which Justice Sekana is going to deliver. So after doing that, we shall go back to the court sittings. So the judgment stroke ruling, sitting type is judgment. Stroke ruling pronouncements, we have put all the parties here. Room number, civil, then we select the date, 26th, time is 10. Duration is 120 minutes. Third court staff, we have put research assistants, transcriber, and we have also put our clerks. So we shall save and close. So upon saving and closing, we should be able to perform the action now that allows us to proceed and serve the hearing notices for judgment, actions, confirm. Okay. The judge confirms this sitting, and then he also serves the hearing notices for delivering judgment notice, and he can proceed to save and close. So that's how the judge will be creating a sitting and issuing the notices to the process server. So the action is to validate. He has validated the notices. So he can send this notice to the process server to go and serve it, and then the process server will go through the same process of uploading the affidavit of service. So the next stage is to have the transcriber. If this sitting happens, then we shall have the transcriber attach the transcript, and the judge will come back and complete the sitting and attach the judgment. So our transcriber, it is basically the same process for all hearings. So the transcriber logs in. If that sitting has happened, he plays the recording, attaches the transcript. After attaching the transcript, the research assistant will log in and attach the authorities and precedents, and then the judge will attach the final judgment. So as you can see, the case is pending final decision. There is a ruling set for this date and time. It is pending. So the transcriber will go and record and play the hearing and then attach the transcript. That will be the role of the transcriber. After he has attached, then we shall have the research assistant. This is it. There is a sitting here. So she will edit the sitting. So that is what she will do. After editing, then she will attach the transcript. browse for it on the computer. If it has been well typed out, then attach it. So the copy of the transcript will be available to all parties in this case, and that's all the transcriber will do. Save and close. Click OK. So the next person that we have logging in is the research assistant, just to attach the legal opinion. So we shall log out as the transcriber and log in as a research assistant to attach the legal opinion. Assuming our research assistant's account is this one. Then we put in the password. So log in as a research assistant. So when the research assistant logs in, he will go direct to that case. The transcriber has put the transcript. The hearing has taken place for judgment, stroke ruling. Now our next step is to attach the legal opinion by the research assistant. So the research assistant should be able to see this case and attach his draft legal opinion ruling, make it very confidential for him and the judge so that the others cannot see it. This is optional for judges that don't want their draft legal opinion to be attached to this case. The research assistant will be exempted from putting it in this case. So research assistant can go to the courts she will be able to check the sitting, whether the sitting has taken place, and if it has, then she will proceed to attach the draft legal opinion. So the sitting has taken place, then she will go to the judgment stroke ruling card, then edit. So the research assistant space is under the judgment stroke ruling card. So here she can attach the draft legal opinion and then browse for it and attach it. Assuming this is the draft legal opinion. So when we attach it, it will look like that, and then we shall click add. So that is how the research assistant will be able to make it. But at the same time, the research assistant can be able to make this very confidential between him and the judge so that the rest do not see this draft legal opinion. So she can say maybe she wants to only share this draft legal opinion between him and the judge. So when she checks this box, she selects the person she wants to share it with and then save. So no one else will be seeing it apart from the research assistant and the judge. But it will be on the system until they are free to disclose it, so she can save and close. So that's the role of the research assistant. And now the judge has all the required documents to allow them make upload his judgment. So we are going to log in as Justice Musa Sekana in order to be able to attach the judgment. Assuming the judge has finished drafting the judgment, he has the transcript, he has the draft legal opinion, he can proceed to log in and then go to the section of the judgment stroke ruling. So he'll open this case. As you can see, the case is pending final decision stroke ruling. So he will go to the section of the judgment. select the judgment stroke ruling date, I think, assuming it is today. If there are any applicable laws, he can put the laws here. There is any background, he can put the background here. If there is any summary decision that he wants to include in this judgment, he can put it here. Any comments, they will be put here. Then if there are any decision details that he wants to attach, they go to this section, but they are all optional. If there are any supporting documents, they can go to this section. So the section where he attaches the final ruling that has been pronounced in court is this section. So he will go here, final judgment, document type, it is a judgment. So he will browse, it is signed by him. Click here, browse for the judgment that he has read out in court. Proceed to attach it. Okay, you can also just attach it here. So the final judgment has been attached on this file by the judge, and he will proceed to save and close. Okay, let's just check something. Edit. And just delete one and we add. Save and close. I think there is already judgment created. Let me just see. Let's put it. Okay, there is already judgment that has been saved. So, but this is the process we shall be going through to upload the final judgment here. And after uploading it, then we shall be able to complete the case. So we shall go to the general overview. Yes. Under actions, we shall proceed to attach the decision. Click OK. So under actions, we shall proceed to move the case to the next stage, which is proceed to decision attachment. So shall proceed to decision attachment. So at this point in time, this sitting has been completed, and we hope that it has been held. So the next stage will be to, we also have the transcript attached. We shall proceed to decision attachment. Okay. That will end the process at the final decision, stroke ruling, or judgment. There are notifications that are coming through on this case. So most of the notification relating to this case will be received in this section, where you can see all these judgment, stroke ruling, plaintiff's case. All of these notifications will be coming to this case. So you will be able to see them. And the same notifications will be going to the email. So ideally, that is how we shall be completing the sittings and attaching the judgment. We are going to end here for today. So that's the process we go through to complete a case from the time of hearing to the time of delivering judgment. If there are any appeals in this case, they can still be filed. We file these cases as appeals within the same system. If there are any applications, I showed you where the applications go. then that will complete this entire case. So I think for today, this ends my presentation. I thank you for listening to me.